I remember when this movie first came out and my first reaction to it. What the fuck? I love comics and grew up on Marvel comics in particular, and try to keep informed on all the movies coming out based on their properties. Also, I'm a fairly big fan of the lead actors in this film. So I was shocked that I literally knew nothing about this movie until a short while until it was released. I knew a lot about Iron Man before it was released. Why didn't The Incredible Hulk get the same press? There is actually a reason for this. You might remember 2003, there was this movie called Hulk, made by Universal Studios. It's a mildly polarizing movie where some people love it, but most people hate it. I felt the acting and the character interactions between the three leads were great, but what the fuck was up with that movie's villain? Well, Universal's contract to make Hulk movies was still kind of open. It had reached a point where they could make a Hulk movie and renew the rights, but it had been long enough that if Marvel wanted to make a Hulk movie, they could and effectively nullify the contract with Universal. So they really didn't promote this movie until it was so far in production that it would have been nearly impossible for Universal to make a sequel and cockblock Marvel. If you're interested in seeing how other movie studios cockblock Marvel, please check out The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's got you on his computer.
It almost goes without saying this movie was a bit rushed, but if Marvel didn't make this movie, you'd likely get a C-grade superhero in the Avengers instead of Hulk. Someone like Hercules or Wonder Man. I'm certain they would have been just as interesting to watch as the Hulk.
Enough! You are all of you beneath me. I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
Puny god.
So upon initial viewing, I really didn't like this movie. In fact, I thought Ang Lee's Hulk was better. Then I watched it again and thought it's really pretty equal to Ang Lee's Hulk. Then I watched it again and thought it was a totally decent movie. Then I watched it again and still it was just decent. So that means The Incredible Hulk is awesome, right? Well, The Incredible Hulk decided to be more like the old Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno show, where Dr. Banner wanders all over the place and occasionally gets into fights.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Even though it's a movie and not a television show, it decided to adapt this formula, and it makes the movie feel way less epic than a superhero movie really should. So that means The Incredible Hulk sucks, right? Well, it definitely had serious issues. In Ang Lee's Hulk in The Avengers, Hulk was modified to look like the actor portraying Bruce. This was a good way to help you recognize the character. Here, Edward Norton transforms into the Hulk, and they look nothing alike. How are we supposed to look at Hulk and think, hey, that's Dr. Banner? I mean, it was forgivable in the old show when you had to have separate actors playing Banner and Hulk, but here, where Hulk is computer generated, they could literally make him look like anything or anyone. Wouldn't it make sense to give him some of Banner's features? Give us a moment where we're looking at Hulk and we definitely see Banner in him. They are supposed to be the same person, just one is
an enormous green rage monster.
Instead, it often feels like we have two distinctly different characters throughout the movie. I don't really get the sense that Banner and Hulk are the same person. And that removes a lot of the drama. And when you're dealing with a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type story, you really shouldn't remove any drama. William Hurt's a very good actor, and he is capable of giving a damn fine performance when he decides to put effort into it. And he does actually put effort into this role. But the character is written wrong. I simply don't have any other way to say it. He's wrong. Look at Ang Lee's Hulk. Sam Elliott plays Thunderbolt Ross there, and it feels right. He is concerned about his daughter and the destructive influence Bruce Banner will have on her should they continue their relationship. Yes, he also wants to see Hulk captured for military research, but you never get the sense that he doesn't care for Betty. In fact, through most of the movie, you get the sense that he's more worried about keeping Hulk away from Betty, and a large reason why he uses the military to try to capture Hulk is so he can contain him and keep him away from Betty. The idea that the military can then experiment on Hulk is an afterthought to him in that movie.
This Crimsbury you work with, you know who he really is? How much do you actually know about him?
I think the question is, what is it that you know about him?
Well, right now I'm not at liberty to...
Not at liberty to disclose it to me, right? Right. You know, I think I was hoping that maybe this time you just honestly wanted to see me again.
You got this all wrong, Betty.
Do I?
Yes. I do want to see you.
I really wish that I could believe you.
Here, he just wants Hulk, but he doesn't give a shit about Betty outside of the occasional outburst that ends up feeling out of place. I understand that Betty turned her back on him because of how he treated Bruce after he became the Hulk, but are we supposed to infer that he then turned his back on her? Because I would call serious bullshit on that. Thunderbolt Ross is a caring father, and parents don't give a shit what their child thinks of them. Well, actually, they do care, but not when it's about their protection. A parent will happily have a child that is alive and hates them, rather than a child who's dead who loves them. Ang Lee's Hulk really nailed this character. He's annoyed because Betty is pissed at him for hunting Bruce, but he doesn't regret his actions because his goal has been to ensure that Betty and Bruce are separated. This guy doesn't seem to care about his daughter at all, and it makes his character impossible to care about. I know he's an antagonist, and you don't have to empathize with an antagonist, but the best antagonists are ones you can empathize with. And Thunderbolt Ross is a great antagonist for that reason, and he's wasted in this movie. There is almost no character development in this movie. I say almost none because we do see the development of Tim Roth's Emil Blonsky, aka Abomination, and he is by far the best part of this movie. His arc is pretty simple. He starts out crazy, but by the end he's so drugged up that he's a complete psychopath.
Why are you always hitting people?
And you might be saying, but Bruce Banner has a great character arc. He goes from being suicidal to being a hero. Well, you might be saying that if you bothered to watch the special features, because Banner had a great story arc in this movie, but they cut a pivotal scene from the movie. Remember in the Avengers when he says,
I got low. I didn't see an end, so I put a bullet in my mouth and the other guy spit it out.
Yeah, that's a reference to the opening scene in The Incredible Hulk, in which we see Bruce pull out a gun. We don't get the details in this scene that we got in The Avengers, but it's clear that he's gonna kill himself, and then the Hulk bursts out. That's how come he jumps out of the helicopter at the end to fight Abomination. He knows a suicide attempt will help bring Hulk out, who is the only one who has a chance at ending the Abomination. But they cut that opening from the movie. So now we have this ending, and we have no idea why Banner is certain that jumping from the plane will bring Hulk out. For all the audience knows, he's thinking, fuck it, and decides to kill himself. This movie would have been quite a bit different if it had this ending.
Sorry.
The reasons for cutting this opening scene were because it was felt it was too dark a note to open the movie on. I feel that's the point of the scene. Hell, that's the point of the movie. Banner starts in a dark place viewing Hulk as a curse. And at the end, he still sees Hulk as a curse, but a curse that maybe he could do some good with. It's good that the Avengers brought up this scene, but because this movie cut it out, means that the Hulk has no character development in this movie. He starts out a guy with his terrible curse doing all he can to hide from it, and in the end, he's this guy with this terrible curse that hides from it, but sometimes it will make him smile for reasons not explained. Damn it, that ending would fit in so much better if they didn't cut the opening from this movie. Wow, we get to see the origin of the leader right here? That's great. They didn't shoehorn it in or anything. It just flowed from this scene. And it helped set up the next movie. I can't wait to see that one come out. That should be awesome. When's that one scheduled? Fuck! Now, you might be shocked to hear this, but this is not Ang Lee's Hulk. That was obviously the filmmaker's biggest concern, because there is that other Hulk movie, and people dislike that. So that means everything about it is a giant pile of shit, right? That's a huge misstep, because their goal should be to fix that movie's issues, instead of just do everything different. They should have been focused on just fixing what didn't work. Most notably, these characters, Bruce Banner, Betty Ross, and Thunderbolt Ross, all felt like real, fully developed characters in Hulk. Here, they feel like partially realized shells. The actors are doing a good job, but they don't really have much to work with and end up suffering because of it. Well, they did fix one thing that didn't work in Hulk, the villain. The Abomination is awesome here, and Tim Roth does a great job with the character. What was the villain in Ang Lee's Hulk again? That's right, it was Nick Nolte as, I guess, the Absorbing Man. And, I mean, Absorbing Man is cool, but this origin, how he's Bruce's father, how he makes Hulk dogs, it's really fucking stupid. Here, the villain has a clear and simple story, and it works, and it provides us with a really cool fight at the end of the movie. This is a very flawed movie, but it certainly isn't bad. I think the actors do a good job, which is vital, because the script really doesn't give them much to do with their character. I do think it's very interesting that the only major actor in this movie to reappear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Robert Downey Jr. In the end, if you were to skip one movie when watching the whole MCU, this is probably your best bet. Not because it's the worst, not because it doesn't have little Easter eggs, it's because we essentially get a reintroduction to the character in the Avengers. In fact, Hulk's story arc in that movie is pretty much the story arc we should have gotten here. But this movie really failed to get that storyline across, and Joss Whedon was more than happy to fix that mistake. I give this movie a 7 out of 10, which isn't bad at all when looking at movies in general, but for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's only high enough to make this movie the third worst in the franchise.
It's the end of all humanity. No more time for last minute shopping. It's time to face your final destiny. It's Christmas at ground zero. There's panic in the crowd. We can dodge debris while we trim the tree underneath a mushroom cloud.
If you're a fan of my channel and the content I produce, please make sure to visit my Patreon page and become a patron. If you sign up there, not only is there the option to become a producer, if you contribute a little bit more, you'll get your own title card with your name or your handle or whatever you want listed, as well as a website or anything like that within reason that you'd like to promote.